Hello, Midnights. We hope you enjoy our stories. Next, the timeless allure of the Loch Ness Monster. Let us know where you are listening from, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you. In 1933, a couple driving along the newly opened road overlooking Loch Ness claimed to have seen a dragon-like animal rolling and plunging in the water. Their story was one of the first that captured the public's attention and kicked off the modern legend of Nessie. The Loch Ness Monster, affectionately known as Nessie, is a legendary creature said to inhabit Loch Ness in the Scottish Highlands. The myth of Nessie has fascinated people for centuries, with purported sightings and evidence sparking ongoing debate among believers and skeptics. The sheer persistence of the legend, despite a lack of definitive proof, speaks to a deeper human need for mystery in an age of scientific certainty. It is a story that has transcended its origins to become a global cultural phenomenon, representing a final frontier in a world where little is left unexplored. The enduring mystery of the Loch Ness Monster lies in a perfect storm of environmental factors, human psychology, and the sheer challenge of proving a negative. Its mystery persists not because of overwhelming evidence, but because the unique conditions of the loch itself, combined with the power of folklore and the nature of evidence, have made a definitive solution almost impossible. The very elements that define the loch's ecosystem, its vast size, incredible depth, and famously murky waters, have allowed the legend to thrive. Loch Ness is the largest body of fresh water in Great Britain by volume, holding more water than all other lakes in England and Wales combined. It is also exceptionally deep, reaching a maximum depth of over 750 feet in some places, which is more than twice the height of a well-known London landmark. This combination of size and depth creates a vast, largely unexplored habitat. The water itself is famously dark, filled with a dense concentration of peat particles washed down from the surrounding moors, resulting in underwater visibility of less than 10 feet. This darkness means that even if a large creature were to exist, it could easily live a life hidden from view, only surfacing briefly and leaving behind nothing more than a fleeting impression. The legend of the Loch Ness Monster has a long and compelling history that predates modern tourism and media hype. The earliest documented sighting dates back to a 6th century biography of an Irish monk. According to the account, the monk confronted a water beast that was attacking a swimmer in the River Ness, which flows from the loch. He is said to have made the sign of the cross and commanded the monster to go no further, nor touch thou that man, after which the creature immediately fled, terrified by the saint's power. This story established a sense of an ancient, unknown presence in the waters, a theme that would echo through the centuries, intertwining local folklore with Christian mythology. However, the story didn't gain widespread fame until the 20th century. The construction of a new road along the loch's banks in 1933 provided better views and easier access, leading to a surge in reported sightings. This period is often considered the start of the modern Nessie legend, fueled by a new, sensationalist approach from global newspapers that were eager for a compelling story. The first photographic evidence was published that same year, setting off a media frenzy that would make the monster a household name. The persistence of the Nessie myth speaks to a deeper human fascination with the unknown. In an increasingly mapped and explored world, the Loch Ness Monster serves as a modern-day myth, a repository for our desire for mystery and wonder. This is not just a Scottish phenomenon. Other cultures have their own cryptids, such as Bigfoot in North America and the Yeti in the Himalayas. The Loch Ness Monster is a testament to the power of folklore to become a deeply ingrained part of a region's identity and a symbol of its untamed nature. It is a story that has been passed down through generations, evolving with each telling, and it is a powerful reminder of how a simple tale can capture the world's imagination. The most iconic piece of evidence for the Loch Ness Monster's existence is a photograph, taken in 1934, now known as the surgeon's photograph. Allegedly captured by a London surgeon, the grainy black and white image appeared to show the head and neck of a creature emerging from the water. Its long serpentine neck and small head bore a striking resemblance to a plesiosaur, a large long-necked marine reptile from the dinosaur era. For decades, the photograph was considered the most compelling, albeit unverified, piece of evidence for the monster's existence, appearing in countless books, articles, and documentaries. It was the image that, more than any other, cemented the popular perception of Nessie as a plesiosaur. However, the truth behind the image was a far cry from a scientific discovery. In 1994, it was definitively revealed as a hoax. A man who had been involved in the deception confessed on his deathbed. He and his collaborators had constructed a fake monster using a toy submarine and a model head and neck. They sank it into the loch and took the photograph, which was then passed to the surgeon to give it an air of respectability. The revelation of this elaborate deception significantly shifted the public's perception of the legend, but it was far from the only one. The Loch Ness saga is littered with deliberate hoaxes. In 1951, a forestry worker captured a widely published photograph of what appeared to be 3 humps in the water, a classic sea serpent form. Years later, he admitted the monster was nothing more than bales of hay covered with a tarpaulin. Even more recently, a prominent 2013 photograph taken by a local boat captain was revealed to be a fiberglass hump from a film prop. These repeated deceptions have not only fueled skepticism, but have also become an integral part of the folklore, adding to the monster's mischievous reputation and illustrating how easily a compelling narrative can be built on fabricated evidence. Over decades, Loch Ness Monster sightings have shared some notable commonalities, creating a consistent and identifiable profile for the legendary creature. Eyewitness accounts often describe a large, dark-colored creature with a long, slender neck and a small head. Another frequent feature is the appearance of 1 or more humps protruding from the water's surface, which seem to move through the loch like a serpentine chain. The most iconic description is that of a long-necked, humped creature. Witnesses often compare it to a plesiosaur, a long-extinct marine reptile, or a gigantic eel. It is typically described as being dark, black, gray, or brownish-green, with a smooth, seal-like or eel-like skin. Estimates of its length vary widely, from a few feet to over 50 feet, with the most common estimates hovering around 20 to 30 feet. Accounts often mention a distinct head, small in proportion to its body, and a long, flexible neck that can be raised and lowered, sometimes moving in an S shape. The reported movement of the creature is often described as fluid and graceful, sometimes with a writhing or undulating motion as it glides through the water. It is said to create a significant V-shaped wake, even in calm water, and can appear and disappear quickly, leaving behind nothing but ripples. This sudden vanishing act is a hallmark of the mystery, as it suggests the creature can submerge to great depths in an instant. Nessie is almost always portrayed as shy and elusive, rarely interacting with humans or boats. Sightings are typically brief, lasting only a few moments before the creature submerses. This behavior contributes to the mystery and the difficulty of capturing clear evidence, as the fleeting nature of the encounter makes it impossible to take a quality photograph or video. The conditions of the sighting are also a common thread. Many sightings occur from a distance or in conditions of poor visibility due to the loch's dark, peaty water or frequent fog. This makes precise identification difficult and leaves significant room for interpretation, allowing the human mind to fill in the blanks with the image of a monster. While no scientific data confirms the Loch Ness Monster's existence, the legend continues to be a subject of intense investigation. Over 1,100 sightings have been logged since 1933, a testament to the enduring power of the story. The search for Nessie has long relied on technology. In the 1970s, expeditions used underwater cameras and sonar. One team captured a few blurry photos, including one showing what looked like a large diamond-shaped fin, which they proposed belonged to a plesiosaur. Another large-scale effort in 1987 used sonar to scan the entire loch, detecting several very large targets that were too big to be seals or fish. While these intriguing readings created a buzz, they were never conclusively linked to a living creature and remain a point of debate. More recently, science has turned to eDNA, or environmental DNA, to settle the question. A 2018 survey analyzed over 250 water samples from across the loch. The results found no DNA of a large animal like a plesiosaur. Instead, the survey revealed a high concentration of European eel DNA, leading some scientists to a new and intriguing theory. While most eels are small, the theory posits that some in the loch could grow to an unusually large size, and their undulating movement could easily be mistaken for a long, humped creature from a distance. Other scientific explanations for sightings include misidentifications of swimming otters or seals, floating logs, or even peculiar optical illusions caused by temperature changes in the loch's water. A more fanciful theory suggests that traveling circuses in the past might have allowed elephants to bathe in the loch, with their trunks resembling a head and neck. The Loch Ness Monster is a central figure in cryptozoology, the study of and search for animals whose existence has not been scientifically proven. Cryptozoology is often considered a pseudoscience because it relies on anecdotal evidence and folklore rather than the rigorous scientific method. The scientific community remains highly skeptical of Nessie's existence, pointing to the lack of physical evidence, such as bones, and the implausibility of a large population of creatures surviving in the loch's cold, nutrient-poor waters. To maintain a healthy population, there would need to be dozens, if not hundreds, of these creatures living and breeding in the loch. Could such a large population of animals survive for centuries in the cold, nutrient-poor waters without a single carcass or bone ever being found? As a prominent paleontologist has argued, the loch's ecosystem could not possibly support a large predator population. In the 21st century, the Loch Ness Monster has shifted from a subject of intense, albeit flawed scientific expeditions to a cultural icon and a vital part of the local economy. The mystery remains officially unsolved, with no new credible evidence emerging to sway the scientific consensus. The 2018 eDNA survey, which found no trace of a large reptile, has become the most widely accepted scientific explanation for the sightings, with the giant eel theory gaining significant traction in academic circles. For many scientists, this provides a satisfying if unromantic explanation for the decades of anecdotal evidence. However, the legend continues to thrive. A dedicated group of enthusiasts and researchers still actively search for the monster, often using modern technology like drones and advanced sonar. In August 2023, the local tourism center organized the largest scale search for Nessie in over 50 years, attracting hundreds of volunteers from around the world. The event, dubbed The Quest, used thermal drones and hydrophones to listen for unusual sounds and thermal signatures in the loch. While no definitive discovery was made, the media attention it garnered proved that the world's fascination with the monster is far from over. Today, the monster exists primarily as a tourism magnet, a symbol of Scotland's wild and mysterious Highlands. Boat tours offer Nessie hunting excursions, and shops in nearby villages sell countless monster-themed souvenirs. The legend has become a key driver of the local economy, and the mystery itself is the product being sold. The ongoing cycle of occasional sightings, scientific expeditions that yield no results, and renewed media interest ensures that the monster remains in the public consciousness, perpetually on the verge of being discovered, but never quite giving up its secret. The mystery of the Loch Ness Monster has yet to be definitively solved, and that is precisely because of a combination of factors that make it almost impossible to do so. The sheer size and depth of the loch provide an ideal hiding place. With its volume, the loch could easily conceal an entire population of large creatures, allowing them to remain out of sight from the surface and from sonar scans that cannot cover every inch of the deep. The famously low visibility of the water, caused by high peat content, is another major hurdle. It's difficult to get a clear photograph or video even if a creature surfaces, and underwater visibility is so poor that it renders most camera searches ineffective. This environmental reality ensures that any evidence will almost always be grainy, blurry, and open to interpretation, allowing believers to dismiss skeptical explanations and fueling the cycle of mystery. Beyond the physical limitations of the loch, the mystery persists because of the nature of the evidence itself. The vast majority of sightings are anecdotal, based on fleeting glances and personal accounts that are prone to misinterpretation, confirmation bias, and exaggeration. The few pieces of photographic and film evidence have, without exception, been discredited as hoaxes, fakes, or misidentified objects. The very lack of a single verifiable piece of evidence, such as a body or bones, is the strongest scientific argument against the monster's existence. Furthermore, the theory that Nessie is a surviving plesiosaur is biologically implausible. These were cold-blooded marine reptiles that would not have been able to survive in the cold freshwater of the loch, especially after it was completely frozen over during the last ice age. For the mystery to be truly solved, a body would have to be found. But the loch's depths and the likely nature of its bottom, a thick layer of silt, would make finding a carcass or bones an almost impossible task. The Loch Ness Monster is like a Rorschach test of the loch. This is a powerful metaphor that explains the mystery's enduring appeal. A Rorschach test is a psychological assessment tool in which a person is shown a series of ambiguous ink blots and asked what they see. The test has no correct answer. Instead, the individual's mind projects their own unconscious thoughts, desires, and conflicts onto the meaningless image. The person's interpretation reveals more about their own inner world than it does about the inkblot itself. In the same way, the Loch Ness Monster's ambiguity allows people to project their own perspectives onto the legend. For a scientist, the monster is a fascinating challenge, a claim that demands rigorous investigation and a rational, data-driven answer. For a local tour operator, the monster is a business opportunity, a cultural asset to be leveraged for tourism. For a child, it is a shy, magical creature that exists just beyond the veil of the mundane. The Rorschach test of the Loch means that the monster's lack of a definitive form or existence is precisely what makes it so enduring. What we see in the dark, mysterious waters of Loch Ness often reveals more about our own desires and beliefs than it does about the presence of a creature, in a world where almost every corner of the globe has been explored and mapped. Why do we still cling so tightly to the idea of undiscovered monsters? Is it because the world is less interesting without them? The enduring fascination with Nessie shows that for many, the possibility of the unknown is far more compelling than the comfort of a definite answer.